everyone. Welcome to chapter 5. I cannot believe it's already chapter 5. Only this and 2 more to go. Yes, so thanks for clicking on that one too. I really appreciate it. And for all the first timers here, as I just said, it's chapter 5 of my book and about my life and experiences. So this chapter, as you could tell by the title, it's about a belief system, my belief system that I had. And yes, so there are 4 previous videos. If you want to check those out too, that would be nice, because then you can follow my personal story. And yeah, for all the other ones, thanks for being here, and let's just dive in. So out of part 1, Anything Dear, this is chapter 5, Philippism, the story of a belief system. As my body and mind was counting seconds, I saw myself more and more confronted with constructs, doctrines that apparently were deemed essential to one's personal evolution and finding one's purpose. First a few, a clear number, then more, an innumerable amount. Doctrines about how I should be, how to behave, what to achieve, what to think. Ideals of how to feel, how to act, what to say, and what to avoid. Essentials in how to look, how to present, and most importantly, how to optimize myself. And the mutual societal understanding, the contract, was that I would need to excel in all of these qualifications to help me become who I'm supposed to be, and therefore be rewarded with having it all. Having it all, the modern day holy grail, the grail of success in the private and public realm, the grail of community, being part of a family, and consequently becoming holy. A person that was perfectly perfect. A person, a worthy global citizen that would, if making the right choices, be idolized and paid for with love, a good life, connection, and trust. A person, a worthy human being that would, if making the right choices, be making everyone proud, especially family and oneself. This understanding, as I would come to embrace, had been approved by them, by my family, by everyone. Indeed, everyone I knew, it was the right thing to do, and they all were sure of it, because they have lived it too. But life doesn't come with a manual and tells you what to look out for. It doesn't tell you where dangers lie and what signs to read. Therefore, it never occurred to me that there was a difference between doing things that made me happy and doing things of importance. So I would learn the hard way that my interests, passions, and me as a person weren't enough anymore. That doing things just because I liked them and what would simply bring me joy wasn't a valid reason anymore for doing them. And that pride that resulted out of my happiness, that pride to just be, would need optimization too. As a child, I didn't think about social structures or the map and infrastructure of success as much as I would do in my teens, 20s, and early 30s. I did have dreams, and none of those dreams did include intense comparison and competitive environments. Back then, I wasn't thinking about what college to go to, how to fall in love, or how to look my best. Back then, I wasn't thinking about these things like what all there is I needed to achieve and what would be considered expected appropriate actions. I wasn't thinking about grades, who was better than me or why they were, and I wasn't worried about my intelligence or my resume. But I learned to focus on those things. I learned to want to achieve and follow all the doctrines, to be that person because others did it too. They did it, and they did it seemingly effortlessly. They proved themselves successful and therefore established their value as an ideal human and were rewarded with their place in society. An incredible achievement for others to be proud of. And people close or not so close to me would tell me so. They would explain to me in detail what to do, how to manage my 24 hours a day, showing it to me by adding it up and writing it down on paper. How many of them I could spend sleeping and how many I needed to spend working. After all, sleep is reserved for the dead and not the living. And that one should remember that trust is good, but control is always better. Always. These are some valuable lessons, it seemed, because only if one knows that, one can use their time wisely and make something out of themselves, becoming someone valuable, someone useful, becoming someone that was more than what he liked, like the arts, because the arts are nice to look at, but do not amount to anything. Not really. Especially if you're not dead. It's only then when it becomes of value, as evidenced in the arts already. Becoming someone impressive, someone indispensable to society, someone to be trusted to do the right thing, and someone that the family is not ashamed of talking to the childhood's friend's parents about. I just saw Mario's mother today. He's getting his master's. I didn't know what to tell her what you are doing and what you are becoming. You change careers so much, it's confusing. I'm trying to be happy, Mom. Why don't you tell her that? So I tunnel visioned my path of life to be that someone that would see all the possibilities of what life would have to offer, but wisely would follow the recommendations and suggestions of my surroundings. And again, this decision had been approved by the mind of the collective, the laws of society, my family, and my thoughts. Everything just got overwhelming with time and extremely confusing to me. I didn't understand and I felt misunderstood. Not just when it came to families and communities, but also when it came to other requirements. I would learn that by getting a degree, I was doing the right thing, because later in life, it would help me financially, but also would help me wanting to help others. The only problem, I would need to do it faster, because I was already behind. I would learn that even the way I looked or presented myself wasn't good enough anymore. Little Buddha or chanting songs about my body made me aware of that. I would learn that even the way I spoke or the Portuguese language I didn't would be seen as a disgrace and me coming to hate my voice and my last name. And I would learn that sharing personal information not necessarily meant trusting others, because this subtle offering of emotional bond looks different when it's being weaponized against you. And so I learned that all of my traits, every part of me, no longer only belonged to me. All of me became public property, and all of me was up for election. And so the public voted. I was smart, but not smart enough. I received my degree, but I wasn't educated enough. I was talented, but never talented enough. I had jobs, but the jobs were never good enough. I was a man, but not manly enough. I was handsome, but not handsome enough. I was toned, but never muscular enough. I was gay, but never private about it enough. I was a Brazilian man's son, but I wasn't Latino enough. I grew up in Switzerland, but I was not Swiss enough. I spoke German infused with an Austrian dialect, and so it was never German enough. I was friendly, but I was not proper enough. I was understanding, but never considerate enough. I was helpful, but I did not offer my hands and ears enough. I was thankful, but never grateful enough. All of it meant that I should not be or could not be trusted. All of it meant that I should not be granted permission to decide for myself what I wanted and what I felt was good for me. And all of it meant all of it seemingly made me eligible of being ridiculed, hazed, belittled, socially excluded, and physically attacked. I worked so hard and studied all the doctrines of personally adapted and culturally exemplified idealism. Yet slowly but surely I noticed that I wasn't meeting the doctrines of mankind, and that I didn't excel in what it meant to be a man or to be gay or to be a human citizen, because I was focused on all the wrong things. I was only focused on things that would lead to nothing, too colorblind to see the colors of what truly mattered. And so I started to lose faith, to lose the belief in what it meant to be myself. And so I started to lose sight, to lose the knowing of what it meant to be myself. Me as a whole, every part of me as a person with thoughts and feelings meant room for improvement. I imprinted that. I imprinted it all. And after decades, after carefully carved by others and myself, I was left with this belief, a belief that would hold messages about me, a belief that would make me feel it religiously. Philippism, my new kind of safe space. The space I came to know and the only deep connection I developed. The space of thinking and remembering that I would always be just not quite enough. Yes, that was chapter 5, Philippism, and yeah, it ties in with chapter 4, DNA, because both of them are about connection and ultimately the belief system I had for years and years, decades. And yeah, so that was it. Thanks for listening. I hope I will see you in the last 2 chapters of part 1 of my book. I believe these are the most emotional ones, at least to me. I'm a little bit scared of sharing those, to be honest, but I don't know why. I have the feeling I just have to. So next chapter will be chapter 6, Then, Now, Always, the story of control. So thanks for watching. Bye.